Most people call police when there's a problem, but that's not the only time officers are in the area, and they want you to know they're here to help. Yoga is believed to have a calming effect on adults who practice it, and it apparently works on babies too. The dogs are all taught to sit patiently, and they tend to bring out the best in everyone. They couldn't get to everyone, but fortunately those who didn't get in on this day won't have to do without. Steve Nuno knows what it takes to get an athlete to the Olympics.
But stick the landing, chest up.
That's because he's done it before. Nuno, a former gymnast, opened his first gym in Boston, where he caught the eye of the legendary Bella Caroli.
And he invited me down to Houston to coach with him, with a group of elite girls, Mary Lou Retton included. I taught him how to speak the language. He would make sounds because he was so excited that he would just go poof.
Nuno then coached Shannon Miller through the 1992 and 96 Olympics, where she won 7 medals, 2 of them gold. After Shannon retired from competition, Nuno switched gears, eventually opening 4 Florida gyms, including Palm Beach Gymnastics in West Palm Beach.
Reach your arms out, lift. Put your arms open, arms open.
It's here that 16-year-old Emily Gaskins, a member of the U.S. national gymnastics team, tracked him down.
I had never heard of him or anything, and then when I looked up his name is when I found out that he was Shannon Miller's coach and everything. Nuno
hadn't coached elite athletes in years, but it quickly came back to him.
Come on, forward, forward, reach.
He's helping Emily regain her strength after suffering injuries that may have contributed to a disappointing showing at the national championships. The top 12 finishers went to the Olympic trials, but Emily didn't make the cut.
It is upsetting and disappointing, but I try to look at it on the bright side. I have now more time to get these upgrades and fix my routines.
So now she's training hard, about 5 hours a day, often alongside another elite gymnast, 13-year-old Kyrie Lowe.
There you go, nice one.
Both girls have a tough road ahead of them. Rule changes will cut the number of gymnasts on each team from 5 to 4 in the next Olympics. But Emily says she's still inspired by teammates who did make it to Rio.
I just watch Allie Reisman and Simone Biles. They're my 2 role models, and they'll help me. And if I start to get nervous or anything, they'll be like, "Hey, just calm down. All you have to do is just what you do in training. Don't overthink it."
While Nuno encourages that attitude, he does not coddle his athletes, instead treating them like the Olympians they hope to be.
It's only a 3-second run and you get amnesia halfway down. But you're not going to land like this, like the caveman landing, ugh.
As for his top gymnast chances at the 2020 Olympics, when Emily will be 20 years old.
Will we see her? Only time will tell to see how many great gymnasts are going to be at that time that she has to make the Olympic team.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. They came from all over the state and across the country.
Thank you all of you for being here with us. Welcome to our march.
Hundreds of protesters, led by a nonprofit human rights organization called Coalition of Immokalee Workers, on a 10-day tour of several cities ending right here in South Florida.
We came from the University of Notre Dame to support immigrant farm workers.
Their primary mission, to get fast food giant Wendy's to sign the so-called Fair Food Program, aimed at stopping abuse of farm workers like unpaid overtime and dangerous conditions in the fields. They're also asking for an extra penny a pound for produce to be paid directly to farm workers like these. We're here to get Wendy's to pay a penny more for the people who are working in the fields. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, and Subway have already signed on, but not Wendy's.
Wendy's would rather pay Mexican farmers to grow their tomatoes in worse labor conditions than to pay local farmers and workers a fair wage.
So after rallying in West Palm Beach, the group headed out, led by 87-year-old wheelchair-bound Ethel Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy's widow.
We can hear it for Mrs. Ethel Kennedy. Yay!
They walked past the convention center,
Boycott Wendy's!
through downtown West Palm Beach and across the Flagler Bridge,
Boycott Wendy's!
winding up on ultra-upscale Palm Beach Island, where Wendy's board chairman, billionaire Nelson Peltz has a home, and where protesters were met by some local supporters. A good deal of curiosity, incredulous stares, and occasional hostility.
This is really sad. Come on. Really sad.
And so it went down County Road to swanky Worth Avenue, past exclusive shops and galleries, to a closing rally in a park along the Intracoastal. Organizers say they'd originally been denied a permit and had to sue the town of Palm Beach for permission to march here. It's not yet clear if they'll get the results they were hoping for. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. Most people call police when there's a problem, but that's not the only time officers are in your area, and they want you to know they're here to help. In West Palm Beach, cops are being encouraged to interact with the public between calls.
Every time when you tell them, they just move out, and after that,
I know.
They're trying to build good relationships when there's nothing going wrong, so if they do have to come back when there is trouble, people will trust them enough to cooperate.
So you gotta get out of your car. You gotta see people, look at people in the eye, shake hands. How you doing? How's your day? Hansel, Freddy, Hansel y Arinen. ¿Son hermanos?
No.
Of course, some days there is very little time to spare for relationship building.
Señor, ¿cómo está?
Many of the calls they're sent on are the ones police dread. Domestic calls between relatives and friends where emotions run high.
So what? We could all grow up living in a Section 8 house.
And cops often find themselves in the middle.
I had sent her to the store and I asked her why did she spend my other $5 and she got all hysterical.
Your mom? Is it your mom or your sister or what? That's your mom?
Yeah, that's my mama.
And while the potential for making connections with people can be tricky,
Do you have any warrants, sir?
Oh.
Okay.
just as the media's cameras tend to show up wherever there's even a hint of trouble,
I'm just telling you, man, you can't be out here, dude.
police are also faced with the knowledge that everywhere they go, everyone they see, and even those they don't see, could have at the absolute least a cell phone camera recording their every move.
You cannot keep doing this. I'm not taking you to jail. I don't want to take you to jail.
The city recently bought body cameras for officers. They're not being used yet, but when they are, they will represent still another set of eyes and ears on police while they're on the job.
I have great supervisors that they have always said, whatever you do, do it as if you're with a family member, and always as if somebody, the public, is watching you.
It's a challenge they say they're up to as they work to keep their relationship with the people they serve cordial and the city calm. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TVAT. Enjoy! Dress rehearsal for the kids of Faith's Place is a very serious business. They're not professionals, but their instructors expect them to give it their all, whether acting, dancing, singing, or playing an instrument. Most of these young people probably won't go on to performing arts careers, but some may, and if they do, they'll have to keep on working hard, as their violin teacher, 29-year-old professional musician Gareth Johnson, can tell them.
Hopefully, what comes out of this is people recognize talent.
Johnson is among several musicians who volunteer their time to teach here. The son of 2 doctors, Johnson says that growing up, he never had to borrow instruments or struggle to pay for lessons, things that are out of reach for most of the kids participating in programs at the center.
Growing up, I'd pay $200-300 an hour for some lessons like this.
While they're teaching, Johnson and the other instructors use a combination of encouragement, empathy,
she has a different mouthpiece,
and tough love. But most of all, they try to inspire their students. And there is perhaps nothing more inspiring than talented musicians who are already racking up accomplishments even though they're still in high school, like 17-year-old Kavana Shuford and 14-year-old Cameron Williams, who are already teaching here.
Since I'm young myself, I'm able to pass on what I know
to these kids in a way that they can understand, and it really helps them grow.
The teen musicians could spend their free time doing other things, but they feel that what they're doing here is just too important.
Studies have shown that the arts has improved test scores, so I feel that every student should have that opportunity.
Me being African American as well as a female and a violist is all just things you don't see every single day. So my mom tells me to take everything that I have and make sure I can broadcast it to whoever I can.
And their contribution does not go unnoticed.
Our students are so blessed to have you here with them. Not because they're brown children, and you know what I mean, but because they're children and they really need this outlet. The fact that you're willingly coming to the hood to do this means a lot, and I believe you're going to be blessed bountifully.
And so these performers are learning from each other, growing up together, and most likely never forgetting it. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV 18. A steamy Saturday at Grassy Waters Preserve, and they're getting ready for a canoe trip. The preserve is on the edge of the Everglades, but it's also in the heart of suburbia, so you'll hear a mixture of sounds from passing traffic, the kind that cars and trucks make, and also the kind that comes from wildlife. It's the second kind that visitors like these come to hear.
I'm going to be guiding you guys out there on the Everglades experience today.
Sam Dorfman, Grassy Waters Environmental Education Supervisor, is leading the trip.
For me, coming out to a place like this has a sort of primordial connection to my senses.
The people who are going on the journey with Sam come from a variety of backgrounds, but they're all hoping for a chance to lose themselves in a very different world.
That's my daughter.
Tom Zach, a middle school teacher, is sharing a canoe with his 24-year-old archaeologist daughter, Anna.
I just love being out on the water. It's nice and serene and tranquil, and you can forget about the work week.
Sisters Nabil and Cindy Noguera are both Miami social workers. Nabil works with very young, very sick patients in a pediatric hospice.
On a day-to-day basis, it's very emotional. It's an array of diagnoses, so they have more or less 6 months or less.
But for a few hours at least, all that will be forgotten as they glide out into grassy waters. It's a trip away from their troubles and also a journey back in time.
These plants that you see here are a window into the past. You're looking at Jurassic Florida right here.
Of course, back then, the modern conveniences we all take for granted were not around. No fiberglass boats, high-tech sunglasses, cell phones, and definitely no selfies. Still, out here in Grassy Waters, if you let yourself, it is possible to imagine the world as it was a very long time ago, as you sink hip-deep into muddy water while tramping across a submerged island, or paddle past water lilies and razor-sharp sawgrass. It is nothing short of magical.
I try to implement, on the weekends, something that will bring me peace. It was very helpful to come out here because it allowed me to do that.
It may not change anything in their day-to-day lives, but spending time out here and seeing all this will definitely give them something to think about when the pressures of life seem to be overwhelming. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV.